Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today I want to talk about money throughout the economy and how much things have changed and affected the younger generation. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, the reason I want to shine light on this topic today is because as I grow up, I'm starting to see this problem that a lot of people are facing, and that is money in this economy. And yes, I know everyone struggles and go through things, but for the younger generation, it's increased and it's absolutely miserable. You see, back then, people could afford down payments on a house or an apartment at 25, 30 years old. Insurance wasn't through the roof like it is today. You could actually go and afford things at the age we are now. But everything's changed. For example, college doesn't do the same thing anymore. Having degrees not matter as much as they used to, which is then just throwing kids in debt with no outcome. But back then, you would go to college, you would pay all that money, and that degree that you would get would almost certain you a spot in whatever job you're applying for or what you majored in. But it's not the same anymore because now there's just millions and millions of degrees being handed out on a daily basis. Also, simple apartment rates have increased drastically, not only affecting the younger generation, but everyone, which now causes more people to stay at home with their parents. So, the more and more things rise in prices, it is harder for the younger generation to stabilize and get back on their feet. And that is going to put a pause on a whole lot of things. And what I mean by putting a pause on a whole lot of things is it's going to slow down the rate of people going out to eat or going to amusement parks because half of their check is just going to have to go to rent or whatever bills they have, which then affect those businesses, and then it turns into a whole nother cycle. And honestly, with these types of episodes, I always try and think of solutions or at least one thing that I could do to help in some way. But with this, I'm not sure it can be fixed because the United States prints millions and millions of dollars a day while we're already in major debt. And we've talked about this before. And the only way to pay that debt off is to raise the overall prices for the American people, having them pay it off little by little while they keep printing. So I genuinely don't know if this one can be fixed. I don't know if there's a way to solve this problem because it isn't just with the people. It's overall money, it's overall inflation, it's how we handle it, it's how we price things. And just stopping one of those things isn't going to change the cycle. But with that said, today's quote is by Sam Ewing. They once said, "Parents who wonder where the younger generation is should remember where it came from." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcast.